Sibilance. Sibilance.
Okay.
Welcome to the Midwest Game Nerds podcast. I'm your host, John, and here with me today are Brian.
Hey.
And Alex.
Hello.
On the eve of our 100th episode, we are here to bring you our top 5 of 2018, as well as a few extra superlatives. That's a tough word to say still. But before we get to all that, if you want to follow us on social media or if you want to follow us on social media or see all the places you can listen to or watch a show, check out MidwestGameNerds.com/links. The Midwest Podcast Network now has a Patreon. The Patreon is meant to benefit all the shows on the network. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month and help keep our shows alive and well. Check it out at patreon.com/MidwestPodnet. That's MidwestPodnet. Thanks again to Jason K. and Gojo for their contributions. As always, we do appreciate your feedback, which you can send to MidwestGameNerds@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Twitch, as well as rate and review us on your favorite podcatcher. Alex, any bumpers for the network?
So the horror movie yearbook guys just did a zombie bracket. They looked at a selection of zombie movies and put them in a bracket head to head.
Or zombie-like movies.
Yeah. It's kind of, I don't think they had like a strict definition, but they did have to make some choices with things. So, but it's very good. You should go give it a listen. And yeah, it's a great show. Check out Horror Movie Yearbook.
I listened to the Alien episode because it was a movie I've actually seen.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah. They're very knowledgeable about their horror movies over on Horror Movie Yearbook.
Yeah. I just don't watch very many horror movies.
Me
so
neither.
I don't always listen.
I listen anyway because they're still quite entertaining.
Don't watch Bird Box. Just don't do it.
I try not to listen to too many where I'm not familiar with the movies because I hope to see the movies at some point.
Yeah.
And I don't really like spoilers. So.
That's fair.
I
get that.
Yeah, I like what they do. They're funny.
Yeah.
Cool. You guys want to get into it?
Yeah.
Top 5?
Should we start with the top 5 or should we start with the superlatives? I can't remember what we did last year.
I think we should save the top 5 for last.
Okay.
All right. So we'll save the top 5 and the honorable mentions.
Yep.
Okay. So best free game.
Best free game for me is the Sudoku.com app on iOS.
I don't even know how to play Sudoku.
It's not that complicated.
I just feel like all you do is write numbers in boxes, and you don't really
basically.
Yeah, but like
right.
Every row has to have 1 through 9 and cannot repeat. Every column has to have 1 through 9 and cannot repeat, and every box of 9 has to have 1 through 9 and cannot repeat.
Okay.
So the nice thing
now
about
I know how to play.
Yeah, so you should download the Sudoku.com app because it's free, and also they have a daily challenge every day.
Are there ads?
There are ads.
No, I'm not interested.
That's fine, but I don't even know if it's on Android.
What if they're good
is.
targeted ads?
They're not good.
They better be really good. Like I want to know how targeted are they?
What if they're funny and they're just trying to sell you dildos all the time and shit like that?
I know
that's
from experience.
Most of my targeted ads anyway.
Like that might be how it works on Android. I don't know about the iOS, but anyway, they have a good daily challenge Sudoku, and I've done most of them since I downloaded the app earlier this year. Cool. And it's just a fun little thing to do. It's it's like a crossword. But yeah.
Brian, did you have one or no?
Yeah. I haven't spent a lot of time with it, but I'm pretty impressed so far. The Magic the Gathering Arena game is definitely free to play.
On PC only.
Yeah.
Did you first pick it up after the Game Awards? Earlier this month?
I feel like I picked it up before that.
Okay.
But then I just didn't actually play it.
Because they did have that free promotion
I know.
or whatever.
I missed out on the packs. But I feel like some parts of the interface could be a little better.
Yeah.
But overall, I like how minimal the interface is, and it just makes sense. Like it's just Magic the Gathering, So
yeah,
right on.
No bullshit.
No bullshit.
Other than, I don't know how punishing the economy is yet. But to me, it doesn't seem that bad if you can actually win some games, which I feel like this caters mostly to people that have a strong interest in Magic.
Those type of card games would be more interesting to me if I could be like, I only want to play up until the cards that came out in 1999. And then it would be all the cards that I remember from when I played those games.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I also feel that a lot of the new cards are so cool with some of the effects and abilities that you get from them that it's actually really worthwhile to play some of the newest stuff.
It makes sense, but I just like think of all the Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I have and was very determined to get, and now they're totally useless, or some of them are banned in like tournament play, I think.
Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Yeah, that Blue Eyes White Dragon. But no.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Anyway.
These new microphones make your voice sound so good.
I know. This is probably the first time I've ever enjoyed listening to my own voice. So thanks, guys.
Best voice of 2018.
We did a little upgrade here.
Yeah.
We did.
That
It was a nice Black Friday sale.
We had to buy bigger microphones so Brian's mouth sounded better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pick up more of the frequencies.
Yeah.
My best free game is the Westworld mobile game, and that's just because I went on this like spree of playing Fallout Shelter and was obsessed, and then that came out, and I played that like pretty obsessively for a little while until I realized that it's just the same old shit, and I'm kind of over it. Which if I hadn't played Fallout Shelter, I probably wouldn't have been so burnt out on the Westworld game. But
yeah.
Still love Westworld. Got season 1 and season 2 on Blu-ray for Christmas.
Nice.
Pretty pumped about that. So yeah, best free game. Biggest letdown.
Let's go to Brian first, and then come to me.
Yeah.
Mass Effect Andromeda. It didn't come out this year, but I'm still hurt. Like, I still think about it, and it makes me sad. Especially because I subscribe to EA Origin. Origin Access, Premiere, whatever. Yeah. And they have all the Mass Effect games on there to play, which is awesome. And then I see Andromeda there, and I'm like, this doesn't really belong with the rest of these games. And it makes me mad. And
could you right-click and hide it from the list so you can just pretend it doesn't exist?
Yeah. I keep telling myself I'll give it another try at some point and try to finish it, but I just don't think I can.
I don't think it's worth it.
That'll be the Midwest Game Nerds like game launcher. It'll have a banish command, so you can banish games you don't want.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex?
I went with the Inpatient because I was so hyped for a game in VR from the guys that made Until Dawn, the people who made Until Dawn. And it had so much potential, and it was a game that is connected to Until Dawn, but it was just I'm excited to hear whatever the microphone picked up from whatever the hell just came out of Brian's mouth, but
I don't know if that was his mouth.
I don't know where it came from, but anyway, it had a lot of potential, but unfortunately it squandered all of it, and it sucked. It's 45 minutes long, not interesting to play.
You wish it were shorter.
No, I just wish it didn't exist. So that's, basically why it's my biggest letdown.
Mine's Detroit Become Human. I'm pretty sure I kind of like rallied for this game a little bit when we reviewed it, but after really thinking about it, it was a game that I was kind of pumped for, and it really let me down. Like overall, it was kind of a slog, and it wasn't much of an actual game.
Yeah.
So it was more of like, it's just like an animated, or like an interactive movie of sorts, which I know that's like, David Cage's style. So, but it was definitely my biggest letdown.
Alex Navarro on Giant Bomb described it best when he's like, Detroit Become Human is a game about David Cage showing you that he knows what racism is. As soon as he said that, I laughed so hard, and I was like, God, that's perfect. So
that is perfect. Best ongoing game is Rainbow Six Siege. Nobody else needs to answer.
Yeah.
That's the best ongoing game.
Yeah,
period.
so we changed our best 2016 game of 2017 into best ongoing game for this year.
Because Rainbow Six is killing it.
I made a 2017 game of 2018. If you want to hear it.
Okay, yeah, let's hear what that is.
We don't need to talk about Rainbow Six anymore. Yeah,
I started and played all the way through Prey this year, and that came out last year.
Oh, you actually finished Prey?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
that's a good.
It was
candidate.
a really good game. It gets a little too crazy for my liking toward the end, but
you just weren't on enough drugs.
Just in the fact that like you have to play it more like an action game at the end.
Yeah.
But
But I mean, I would assume they expect you to be like super like souped up from all your powers and shit too at that point, right? And you've got a bunch of weapons and whatever. Like,
I mean, I really appreciate the freedom of choice and how you can play that game, and there are multiple endings too.
Cool.
So, or at least a couple. But yeah, that game was fun, and I want to pick up that DLC at some point too because I heard it's pretty cool. But it's more like
it's a
replayable
run based
experience. Yeah, run based DLC, but that could be pretty cool.
Yeah,
right on.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. I don't think we need to say more about Rainbow Six.
No, it's great.
Yeah, year 3 has been pretty top notch.
Yeah, I haven't bought my year 4 pass yet, but I probably will.
Yeah,
very soon.
It's cheaper on Green Man.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, like 15% or something like that.
Nice.
I feel like in some ways they might be running out of operator ideas, but they're still cool. Like I'm starting to find new uses for the operators that they just recently added that I didn't think would be useful. But
I could see where they'd run out of ideas for the operators themselves. I wish they would focus more on maps. I think like I'd like some new maps and maybe different game modes.
Yeah, that'd be cool if they added to like hostage bomb and secure area with like a new way to play, like an MVP mode or something. You know, some type of different game.
A new objective.
Yeah, like a new objective in order to like diversify. Like if they basically came out and were like, hey, this time we're doing 6 operators and a new game mode.
Yeah.
And like the new game mode was like Pack 1 that came out earlier in the year, and then the other operators are like ones that are more specifically tuned to that type of game mode. That'd be really cool, I think. But I'm really curious to what a Rainbow Six Siege 2 would be for them, if it would be a thing ever, or if they'll just kind of be like, okay, that was our thing, and now we'll make a new ongoing Tom Clancy game, but it won't be Siege. It's not going to be Rainbow Six. Maybe it'll be something else. Like, I want to know where they go. Yeah, where they go from here. Like once they kind of decide, okay, we either need to tech up and re-engineer from like a ground level, or just what the future of that looks.
Well, with the popularity of the esports side of Rainbow Six gaining traction, I feel like their main focus will be that.
Yeah.
Like promoting it and tuning the game. Like Rainbow Six Siege, they're not going to make Siege 2 or anything like that. You're just going to have Rainbow Six Siege, and they're going to just keep tweaking it to make it better for esports.
That's cool. Like.
That's really cool of them. But it still begs the question for me of like, what does a Rainbow Six Siege 2 look like?
Yeah.
When do they draw that distinction and, you know, go further with it?
Where do they shit the bed?
I almost feel like the only place for them to take the Rainbow Six franchise period would be to just leave Siege ongoing for multiplayer and then actually make a single player Rainbow Six.
Normal Rainbow Six. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
They used to have Vegas 3 or whatnot.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Or like it'd just be Ghost Recon, like open world Rainbow Six. Something like that would be kind of crazy, where you get missions that are like, oh, like your team, like you have like tuned operators that you and your friends like put together, and like you get to go to like rescue hostages and yada.
Yeah, I want to take Tachanka out in the jungles of Bolivia.
All right, that's enough about Rainbow Six.
All right, best use of VR. I chose Firewall 0 Hour because that's one of like the only VR games I played this year, but it's also Rainbow Six in VR, and it's rad. And if you have a PSVR, you should buy it. And if you don't have a PSVR, you should buy one just to play this because it's really fucking cool.
I would like to play more of it.
Yeah, for sure. I know they added a bunch of shit lately, I think, too. So
they've been supporting the game well. So, and that's a Sony first party, so that's not going to be.
I'm just having a really hard time peeling myself away from my PC.
Yeah, I
want to play everything on PC. Although I just saw that Far Cry 5 is $20 on PS4 and Xbox.
Yeah,
so it's only 23 or 4 on Steam right now.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll get it on PC then, and I won't play any of my consoles ever again. Who needs consoles? Anyways.
My best use of VR went to Astrobot Rescue Mission.
I had a feeling it would be that or Tetris.
Yeah, so Astrobot is just the most fully realized. Like Tetris, I think is great with or without VR. In the end, several weeks out.
Yeah.
But Astrobot is just an experience that would not exist properly in a non-VR setting. Like I don't think the ingenuity of what they did would translate well
Okay.
in a game where you're not in the space and participating in like changing the perspective with your own head and that type of thing. So I think honestly Astrobot is one of those things that I think pushed a lot of people to pick up a PSVR this holiday season, and I think anybody who did that is probably not disappointed. Like it's quite a game. So
Yeah.
Did you ever try Tetris Effect?
Yeah, no, I did play
Very
Tetris
cool.
Effect in VR. I finished the whole journey mode in VR, and
And promptly had an orgasm.
several times. But no, it's
It's the only way he's able to multiple orgasms is actually playing Tetris in VR.
It's pretty impressive.
the thing about it is like the game of Tetris is so engrossing that like the world around you
Doesn't really matter.
fades away essentially.
Yeah.
If you get into Tetris Effect properly.
The Texas Effect is a whole different game.
But
It's a very big deal.
like I think Tetris Effect is just as effective if
As Texas.
if you use a good pair of headphones rather than VR,
I gotcha.
honestly. So
Yeah.
or a good sound system. So that's why it's not best VR game for me, but you know.
Mhm.
Right on. Brian, you don't have any, right?
No, because I don't think I actually bought a new VR game.
The best
this year.
use of VR for Brian was the money he got from selling his
Yeah.
Oculus.
I sold my Oculus. I'm out of the VR game for a little while.
You almost sold it to me, but then I was
Yeah.
like, I shouldn't buy another VR headset because I'm an idiot.
Because although I would be really impressed if you could figure out how to wear two at a time.
Well, yeah, you put the Oculus on first, and then you put the PSVR over
Yeah,
that because
yeah.
the Oculus has front cameras too, doesn't it? Of
Although
some sort?
the PSVR
I
might
don't know.
crush the Rift.
No,
No, the Oculus doesn't have front cameras.
Okay.
The Vive
Vive
does.
the
does.
Vive has them. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a fucking Sonic and Knuckles Sega Genesis bolt together bullshit.
It's like a VR 32X or something.
You're in virtual reality.
That's it. So there was a sidetrack, but there was a thing on Reddit today with the new motion tracking gloves. I forget who makes them, but they are these gloves that track your joints like individually, essentially.
That's
And
awesome.
somebody in the Reddit comments was like, "You're getting close to being able to play Doom on a computer in VR."
I thought Valve was working on those.
It might have been a co-development,
The HTC Vive.
but this looked like a different person,
Oh, okay.
like a third party that is making them,
Hmm.
and you can use them with Oculus or Vive.
Oh, nice.
Or,
that would
so.
be cool.
But I don't know that might not be true. The cost, like you could, I think
Well,
you could
Sony-
pre-order, and
I
it was
thought
like
Sony was
$250.
working on their own set of like gloves of sorts too.
They had patents that showed like the tracking orbs on a
Yeah.
glove, but honestly, if they're still using the PlayStation camera, then it's not going to be good, and don't do it.
Yeah, but wouldn't you love to have those orbs on your hands?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty good.
It'd be like in Beetlejuice when Alec Baldwin puts his eyes on his fingers.
Yep.
I love that shit. Best indie.
Should we say it? 1, 2, 3?
I have a different one,
Oh,
Oh, okay.
but go ahead.
that's disappointing.
Well, I mean,
I
a
wanted
lot
that's
of
the thing
these
is,
games count as indie games.
and
Yeah.
I
I feel
tried
like
to
this
pick,
is like the quintessential indie game of the year.
I tried to pick different stuff too because I'm sure the best indie that you chose is probably the same as some of my other categories. Maybe, I don't know. Go ahead.
Well, so I picked Donut County.
So
No,
did I.
that's not my best
Okay.
indie.
Well, Brian and I had the right choice, and no, but
Yours
But
just happens to be
Donut
wrong.
County's on my list, and we'll find out where.
okay, that's fair. No, there were a lot of good indies this year, and so figuring out how to spread the love around was difficult.
Yeah.
Like I had Into the Breach up until I remembered that Donut County came out,
Yeah.
and I had to put Donut County down. But it's just a beautiful experience. Super cheap on iOS, like $5 or whatever. Plus, you get the sticker pack with it, so you can text pictures of BK to all your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and it's a delightful game. The music is amazing. Beautiful art style and a really fun mechanic that I wish there was more of. And I'm not going to download Whole.io or whatever the fuck it is that stole it from him. So.
Yeah. Brian, any other words on Donut County?
It was just fun and funny and relaxing.
Yeah.
And yeah, looked cool, sounded cool.
Some of the best writing.
Yeah, it was just really clever, and I feel like it fits best in this category because it's basically done by one person, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like it doesn't get more indie than that, in my opinion.
Cool.
Very true.
So my best indie is a game that came out of early access in 2018, and it's Ghost of a Tale. And it was that mouse game on Xbox early access and PC. I have not played the final version yet, but it is such a beautiful game considering it was literally made by like 3 people. It's incredible to see how awesome that game looks. And on top of that, the gameplay is it's different because it's not an action game per se. It's very much like a stealth, like Metal Gear Solid stealth, but you're playing as a mouse in medieval times.
Yeah.
And it's very like Martin the Warrior and Redwall and all that good stuff.
Which is right up your alley.
Yeah, and so I dig it, and I just think it needs more recognition because I feel like nobody's talking about it.
They did mention
all.
it on the Giant Bomb.
It's
Game
just
of the Year
such a
discussions,
fucking cool game, and I think if you get the chance to pick it up, I highly recommend it. I haven't played the final version. I'm assuming it's only bigger and better.
Yeah.
Because I remember beating the early access version, at least getting to what they considered the end point at that time, and being sorely disappointed that there wasn't more to play, because they created such a cool world. There's a costume system where you can change out outfits to like influence different characters. Like you run into this pirate frog, and the only way you can actually like get him to give you information is to find the pirate costume pieces and put them on and actually talk to him as a pirate, so that he will, because he can't really recognize you until you put the costume on. He's like, there's my captain. And then like, things like that. You put on different outfits to influence different characters. I think that's really cool. The hide and seek mechanisms are like really cool. Like hiding into different barrels and treasure chests and everything to get away from like the rats that are hunting you down whenever they see you. It's just it's a great little platformer, and it's beautiful. And again, it's made by like 3 or 4 people maybe, and it's like that to me. Seeing what 3 or 4 people are capable of doing, and the fact that we can't do that, like, is a little bit discouraging. But it's also a little exciting that like maybe one day if we can get our shit together, we can make a fucking game. You know? So that's my best indie. Most infuriatingly fun game.
I went with Mario Party, Super Mario Party.
Because it's Super Mario Party.
Yeah, like that. Infuriatingly fun is basically the log line for a Mario Party game. But no, I've played a handful of rounds, mostly with Nicole, and I have lost more of them than I should have because of how Mario Party works. And but I'm okay with that because it was a good time, and but also it's horrible.
Yeah, Brian.
I kind of went with 2 things.
Okay.
Sorry, couldn't.
That's all right.
Get the fuck out of here. I'm just kidding.
Well, Dead Cells. I think that I might have put Dead Cells on my Game of the Year list last year because I had it in early access, but I don't know.
I did
sure.
too. I don't think you did actually, but I'll double check.
But
real quick.
anyways, Dead Cells like is fun. Like I just want to keep playing it even when I fail, but I fail a lot and I fail spectacularly, and it's infuriating for sure.
Yeah, because you get in the flow of
and then you're like going fast and you make one wrong stupid move,
or you just
and then you lose everything.
Misinterpret an enemy's tell, and then you're fucked. Like
the game really, it's really good at making you overconfident. I feel.
Yeah.
Like you get used to it. Like you said, you get in a groove and you feel like you're fine.
Well, yeah,
like
like
you
once-
can't be taken down.
Once you get through like the first 2 levels and you get to that like shanty town, like
Yeah.
fuck that place, man.
Yeah, I
'Cause,
can't
like,
even get as far as you guys have gotten. Like
Oh,
I'm that
man.
bad at it.
That like, well, that's the thing is you got to get past the first boss to get to that spot, and then once you get to that spot, it's just all bets. If you can actually get past the first boss without a ton of help, good on you, because that dude's fucking hard. But if you get to that shanty town, all the enemies are fucking assholes. Every
Yeah.
single one of them. Every
Yep.
step you take, every like
The
it's
dude
just,
who shoots the cannonballs.
this is like the worst
fucking-
version of that Sting song. Like every fucking step you take, they just ruin your fucking life, and you're dead, and it's awful.
Oh man.
Every step you take, I'll be fucking you.
With the cannonball.
Pretty much.
Yeah, those cannonballs fucking suck, man.
Yeah. No.
So
what's your second one? You had
this
2.
is an
yeah.
honorable mention, I guess, in this category is specifically the Gambit mode that was added in Forsaken for Destiny 2, because it is so much fun. But man, I don't think I've ever gotten more pissed off at a multiplayer mode ever, and more consistently. It's just like constant. It's just a constant stream of obscenities from my mouth when I play that.
But is it
it is
because
so rewarding?
is it because
and it's
of
so
the,
fun?
the gameplay itself, or is it because of the people you're playing with, or like what makes it
it's
so
all
infuriating?
of that. Like
yeah?
playing with random people in that mode can be the worst. Like it's a real team effort, and the catch-up mechanics in it can make it to where you really think you're gonna win, and there's no way you can lose, and you somehow fucking lose.
And it's like the sway factor is so big
yeah,
on it that
yeah.
it could be anybody's game the whole time, essentially.
Exactly.
Right?
And that also makes it amazing when you're like making a huge comeback on another team. And the invasion mechanic is probably what makes it the most infuriating and fun at the same time.
Yeah.
Is just like going in, like invading someone at just the wrong moment for them and the right moment for you, and like just
Nova
decimating
bombing
their
team.
entire team. Especially when you're in when you're fighting the primeval, like the boss for the round. If you invade, like if your opposing team is fighting a primeval and you invade them, every guardian you kill heals the primeval, and
Yeah.
that is extremely infuriating.
That's pretty
But
good.
yeah, it's such a good mode, and I wish you guys would have experienced it this year.
I mean, I could
maybe
still,
someday,
but
yeah.
probably not.
Yeah.
Maybe, but probably not. My most infuriatingly fun game is Donut County, and that's because there's not enough of it.
Yeah.
It
Fair
made
enough.
like I got done playing it, and I was like, God, I just want more of this. Like,
yeah.
it's funny because like I feel like the way about a lot of these indie games, like you get to a point where like they just didn't, because they didn't have a big enough budget to like give you more.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hope they come out with a puzzle mode or something to like extend the life of this.
Yeah.
You know, just to give me more of a reason to play.
Donut Holes comes
Yeah.
out
Yeah, sure.
5 years from now.
Yeah. Whole county. Donut Whole County. I don't know.
Donut World.
Yeah, donut.
Donut State, and then Donut Country,
Yeah.
and then Donut World. Donut Solar System.
Yep. Keep going. What else you got?
Donut Galaxy. Donut Universe.
Oh man.
Donut Parallel Universe.
Donut Multiverse.
Yeah, I know that's kind of a.
Get on it, Ben. Is that his name?
Yeah, I think it's Ben
Esposito.
Esposito. Yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Most infuriating game.
Brian, you can go first.
Just straight infuriating.
Well, I still enjoyed the game, but I didn't put it in infuriatingly fun because that category is already crowded. And the times that I was getting infuriated in this game were not fun to me. But I'm going to say Shadow of the Colossus, and I'm counting
Okay.
that as a 2018 game.
No,
because,
it's
it's
yeah.
a remake. I know it's very true to the original,
Mhm.
but
it also feels like a
Man.
new game.
it's like the things that are infuriating about it are just the same things that were probably infuriating about it whenever it came out.
Yeah.
That damn horse, man. It's just like, I understand horses are supposed to have a mind of their own, but it's still ridiculous. And just wandering around that stupid map. It's like a beautiful map, but like
really
I would
convoluted.
have preferred a little more direction and a little, and a lot less like retreading of the same ground. The boss fights, like most of them to me actually weren't infuriating. That was like the part I enjoyed the most. But there were some that were, like the last boss, I just kept falling
Yeah.
so often, and it was so fucking infuriating. Because I just wanted to see the end at that point. And at least the end was good.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But yeah, that's that for me.
Yeah.
Alex?
So I didn't play this game. I'm infuriated at the fact that it exists, and that would be Metal Gear Survive.
I played the loading screen and I turned it off.
Yeah, I played the demo and decided I would never play the game.
I played a tiny bit of the beta, but it doesn't even really count.
Sorry.
And it just should not be a thing, and that infuriates me that it is.
It just looked like everything that I would never want out of a game.
What a fucking pull
It didn't
quote.
look anything like a Metal Gear game, at least what I understand as a Metal Gear game.
The idea of
And-
having co-op in the Fox engine is so
If
intoxicating.
they threw co-op into Metal Gear 5, I would have been all about it.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
But instead, they have this, like,
Stupid survival mechanic bullshit.
yeah, and everything just looked cheesy. And, like, it's like the worst part of... I don't even want to get into it.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
It's not for me.
Yep. That's all I have to say on it.
I put my most infuriating game as Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Because I bought it and I feel like we never play it.
We have played it. You haven't played it.
No, I have. I played a lot of Blackout by myself. That
Oh.
was cool.
I like Blackout.
And I tried playing the multiplayer, but I feel like it takes zero skill. Like I'm not that I'm doing I do well in the multiplayer, because I do terrible, but I
Yeah.
feel like it's literally like I don't understand the mechanics of the guns, like how much damage do they really do, like it.
Are you throwing your grenade when the round starts? Because you should be.
Do you have
the
the
fucking 9-bang?
the
Like,
9-bang?
fuck that
Yeah.
thing. That's the most bullshit weapon ever introduced in any game all throughout time.
Yeah, they took that out of Blackout, which is great.
It's terrible.
Blackout's a lot of fun. I wish they would have just sold Blackout separately, and I probably wouldn't have bothered buying the rest of it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Isn't that what they're doing?
You
Well,
can get the
sort of.
multiplayer and the
And
everything
Blackout.
but zombies for $40.
Yeah.
but
May-
only on
maybe-
PC.
Maybe 30, but only on PC. It's called the Battle Edition, I think.
It's 30 until like January.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which also would have been cool because I have no interest in zombies mode.
Yeah.
But whatever.
yeah.
Right on. Best example of an all-around good game.
I put Spider-Man here because honestly, it is the full package in my opinion. I think it's got great gameplay. I think it's got beautiful graphics. I think it's got fantastic writing. It's got fantastic acting. I think everything about it is good. Like, I have close to no complaints about it. So I think for this, to me, it should take this category. But
Are you going to cry about it?
no,
You look like you're gonna tear up.
maybe later.
Pour some
Okay.
out for Stanley.
Yeah.
Brian, what about you?
I think maybe if I had played more Spider-Man, I might consider it for this category. But I mean, for me, it was Forza Horizon 4, just because as an overall package, I just feel like they do such a good job. Like, I mean, you get an awesome game you can play by yourself. You get great multiplayer support in multiple facets. Like, you can play, with just your friends, except now they have like the open world experience where there's other people driving around too, but they can't ruin your fun, which is great.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, great graphics, great sound, runs great, like has awesome PC options too. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I like the fact that it has so much to offer in one package. So I feel like it fits this category.
Right on. I chose Dead Cells for this category, mainly because it hit so many marks for me. One, I'm not a big fan of like retro graphics. I love the graphics in Dead Cells. The music is awesome. The controls are just really fluid and smooth. It's a perfect game for the Switch for sure. Mm-hmm. It's great to pick up. Like, it's one of those games that you can literally pick it up and put it down like however you want. Like,
and it feels rewarding to play it if you're playing it for a minute or for 5 hours.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's it's just it has great gaming elements to it. And I really like it, and I think everybody should play it.
Yeah.
Oh man. It's been a long day. Games I wish I played. I got a whole list. A bunch. I'm going to start at the top here.
Can we do that after the top 5? I feel like it might give away our top 5.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. So we'll do let's do our top 5, then we'll do honorable mentions, then we'll do games we wish we played. That makes sense.
Right. So moving on to the top 5. My number 5 is Fallout 76. I love it. It's in my top 5, and nobody's going to change my mind about that. All you fucking internet trolls and your stupid YouTube videos can suck my dick. That's all I have to say.
All 76 inches of it.
Millimeters.
Yeah, okay. Sorry.
Brian, what about you?
I'm sorry.
What's your number 5?
Forza Horizon 4. Because, yeah. I don't need to talk about it anymore. I just talked about it.
Yeah, that's cool. Alex?
My number 5 is Tetris Effect.
Okay.
Tetris is number 1 in any year, but, you know, it has been forever. So I'll put it at number 5.
Anytime a Forza Horizon game comes out, it's probably going to end up on my list.
That's fair. But no, Tetris is as close to a perfect game that anybody's ever created, and Tetris Effect somehow improves upon that. And that's awesome. So I think you should pick it up regardless of whether or not you have VR and play it, because it's very good.
My number 4 is Into the Breach. This is a great game, and it's great on the Switch. It was great on PC. It is great overall. It belongs on this list because it has some form of replayable value that I have not seen in a long time, and I attribute a lot of that to the fact that it's kind of roped into the narrative that you must replay it. And I dig that. And it just, the achievements are like, they're so obtainable but not, and you kind of just keep wanting to keep replaying it and like changing how you tackle different levels or different enemy types and everything. It's a great game. So
it's constantly making you reevaluate what you've become attached to.
Yeah.
Like you get these pilots or use a team that you become very familiar with, and then you want to get the achievements, so you switch up to a new team that you just unlocked, and you have to like relearn how to play the game with that. And it's always fun to do that.
And I always find myself hating the new team,
the
new robots.
But then by like the end of the game, like if you play through a full game with them, then you're kind of like, okay, I actually understand why these are good and in what situations I would like them in.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I played, but can't you also make custom teams?
You can mix and match.
Yeah, I think that's what I was doing.
It's a little hard though, because like the balance that they put, like the thought that they put into balancing the 3 different mechs or like people, it like they put a lot of like thought into it.
I'm sure there are achievements for using wild combos of those too.
Yeah.
Right on. Next, who's next?
Well, I went with Dead Cells for 4.
Right on. Anything else to say about it?
Not really. I feel like we've talked about it a lot already.
I think that's we all love Dead Cells quite a bit. Alex?
My number 4 is Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Really? You've only had it for like a couple weeks.
I have, but the single player in that game is so much fun. Like, I haven't gotten a chance to talk about it with you guys a lot, but those games to me, like, I'm not a gigantic fighting game kind of guy. I'm probably more so than either of you guys, but
I don't know, man. Throw me on some Tekken Tag Tournament and then we'll talk.
There you go. But it's not about that with Smash Brothers for me. It is just the idea of, like, this game is a celebration of everything Nintendo that has ever been. Like, you can play as Mr. Game & Watch. You can play as the Duck Hunt dog. Like, it's incredible. And now, not only that, but, like, the Spirits mode, the single player itself, incorporates some of the most deep cuts from other franchises. Like, I have the spirit of fucking Revolver Ocelot from Metal Gear Solid in the game that you can, like, use to infuse into your character for different battles to, like, have different abilities and things like that. Like, it just seems like this love letter to video games that a lot of people don't have the budget or the team or the resources in general just to put into to like make something that honors all of the video games around it. So I think it's a pretty monumental task to like put out a game like this and have a single player to it that is fantastic. And I think they did it. So
sweet.
Yeah.
My number 3 is Dead Cells. I don't need to say any more.
So
about
is mine.
Yeah.
I wonder what our game of the year is going to be.
I don't know. I mean, it could be Dead Cells.
We'll see. We'll see.
Well,
What's your number 3, Brian?
Into the Breach.
Eh?
It nudges out Dead Cells in my opinion because it's just more up my alley personally.
Yeah, you're a big strategy game, dude.
Yeah, and I just think it, like you were talking about with Dead Cells, it's great in small doses and large doses.
Yeah.
And I love the music and the graphics, honestly, even though they are like pretty simple throwback kind of graphics.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that whole replayability loop is just incredible. And I wish I had it on Switch, honestly, but I had to buy it right away, and it was only on PC to start.
Might be on sale for like $10 right now.
I would also
It's worth it.
love it on my iPad.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm
I
hoping
think
that'll
it'll
happen
happen
because they
eventually.
did that with FTL.
Yeah.
But, yeah. All right.
Cool. My number 2 is Hunt Showdown. And I'm putting it there because that game is so fucking exhilarating. And there are very few games that have given me the feelings that game has. And there's just something about literally just sitting in the shadows and ruining someone else's day that is so fucking gratifying. It's so good. I mean I can't count how many times I've spent rounds just literally sitting at the exit points waiting for someone to show up just so I can headshot them with my rifle and steal their shit and leave. And that's awesome. It's the only game I actually enjoy being a troll in, like physically in the game being a troll. Rainbow Six, I'll talk shit all day.
I really appreciate that you have to put some effort into doing it. It's not like playing a game like Red Dead Online or GTA Online where you can see everyone on the map.
Yeah.
And you know where to troll everyone.
Yeah.
You have to use sound cues and
Track people down.
really observe your surroundings to actually do that. So,
and I know the game.
I feel like it's fair.
It's been through a ton of different like updates and things. Like there's new.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a new map and all kinds
It's
of
been
other
a long
shit
time
going
since
on.
we've tried it. I'd really like to revisit
yeah,
that.
I definitely want to revisit it, but I think it's a game that it's still in early access as far as I know, and I think everybody should play it if you got a PC that can run it because it's beautiful.
It's definitely taxing for sure.
It's a shitload of fun. It just fucking up someone's day is so good. It's just so good.
I only left that out of my list because I want to see how it evolves before and where it ends up before I put it on there. Like if I had mentioned Dead Cells last year, I had a pretty good idea that the game would be like that when it was done.
Yeah.
Based on how they were developing it. And I seem to be correct on that.
Right on. What's your number 2?
God of War.
Mine
God of
too.
War.
Yeah, this was a tough one for me between 1 and 2, honestly.
You guys are both going to pick Red Dead. No, you're not going to pick Red Dead. You're going to pick Spider-Man. And you're going to pick Red Dead.
That's right. Shit.
Or maybe not. I don't know. He's making a weird face. He looks like he's going
Let's
to
talk
cry.
about God of War.
Yeah.
God of War, it was a game that I wasn't even really that interested in before it came out.
Me too.
And kind of as the hype built, where it was building, and there wasn't much. I feel like there wasn't anything else I wanted to play right around then.
March-ish. Yeah.
So I picked it up,
Or
and I
April.
was very pleasantly surprised that it is just one of the best built games I think I've played, at least in recent memory. Probably since like Horizon Zero Dawn, for me personally, where it's just like things work and they make sense and it's fun and it's everything about it's slick and the story's interesting pretty much the whole way. Like I didn't feel like it dragged really
Yeah.
at any point. It did. It lasted longer than I expected, but that's not really something to complain about in regards to this game.
Yeah.
It was more like I wanted it to be done at some point only because I wanted to play other games,
Yeah.
not because it was getting boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome game.
It's a game that could have ridden the franchise coattails and not been anything special and still made a lot of money, but I feel like they put some care into what they wanted to do with the franchise next.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciated that because, as you said, this is not a game that I was like excited for. It wasn't something that I knew going into would be one of my favorite games of the year, but it's just so technically proficient and just perfectly paced, and the gameplay of it all, like all the systems in it are well thought out. The fact that like I didn't even know how to play it well at first, but eventually found like a way that the combat worked for me. Like all of the work that they put into crafting the experience, I feel like really shines through and is pretty just very, very finely put together and well thought out. And I think for that, it deserves to be at least number 2, if not better. So God of War was great.
Well, it's my number 1, which I said would be on the last episode.
Yeah.
Basically everything you guys said. Although I it's not that I wasn't like excited for it necessarily, but because I kind of was. It was getting such good reviews. Like I definitely wanted to play it at that point. But I'm also a fan of the series. I like the lore in the game. The twist ending was dope too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's it's just everything about it was perfect. I mean, there's literally nothing wrong with that game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Even I don't remember. I think it was maybe Kotaku was talking about it, split screen, and that I can't remember the character's name now because it's been a while since I should say I actually beat this game. That's why I think my number 1
You
should
beat
be
it before us.
a number 1 should be a game I've actually beaten.
Yeah.
I think that's important. But yeah, I can't remember a lot of the characters' names right now. But the head that you carry
Mimir.
around, yeah,
Oh
Mimir.
man, he's a good character.
Kotaku said something along the lines of that he's a character that normally, like you would, or in any other instance would most likely be done poorly, but he's done perfectly. He's like perfectly implemented in the game. His dialogue's great. All the dialogue's great. Well acted throughout. It's an all around great game. It could have also fallen under my best example of an all around good game, but it's an all around great game. It's phenomenal. It's beautiful. It's massive. It's expansive. It feels like I still want to go back and play New Game Plus mode.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot going on in that game that just getting mixed up.
That fucking axe is
Yeah.
just
Oh,
so
yeah.
satisfying.
It really is.
Well, yeah, the other weapon too.
Yeah, but especially the axe. Just like, I don't know. I've never felt that way about an axe in a video game.
Well, they're usually
And-
slow and like, luckily this was like, it's an axe. It's not a hatchet, I suppose. It's bigger than that, but it's not like a full on battle axe. It's like somewhere in between. But it has this like, the sounds it makes.
Yeah.
Like the sound design was so good. Like the sound it makes when it's like embedding itself in a rock,
Mhm.
and then when you pull it out and have it sling back, and just the ability to throw it and then pull it back through enemies
Yep.
and just implement like those little things like that are just perfect.
Speaking of sound, Kratos' voice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, it was good. That guy's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to hang out with that dude. I just want to hear. I literally just want to hear him like read Shakespeare or something.
Or just
For, like,
anything, like an
Yeah.
infomercial or something.
an obituary. Just read it like a handful of
The phone
obituary. Yeah, the phone book. Anything. Anything he wants to read, I'll listen to it. But yeah, it's God of War is a fantastic game. If you haven't played it yet, you should definitely consider checking that out. That's my number one.
Yeah.
Brian?
I had to go with Red Dead.
I knew you would.
Just because, I mean, yeah, it has its flaws for sure, but it's just like, it creates such a world and such a feeling to it. Like, and the story I found genuinely enjoyable for the most part. Like, and the main character was way more enjoyable than I expected. Like, I like him more than John Marston personally. Like, Arthur's cool, and I cared about him more and what happened to him. But yeah, it just, the world was just enthralling to me, and like I was obsessed with playing this game. Like, I haven't been obsessed with any game in a long time, probably since The Witcher 3. But yeah, and I love Western stuff, and just the music and the sound and everything was just perfect. But yeah, it definitely had its dull moments. There's definitely a little too much horse riding. The controls can be a bitch sometimes. Hitting rocks with your horse can be a huge bitch. But whatever. All worth it in the end. I think, yeah, it was my most enjoyable experience gaming this year. So that's why it's there.
Cool.
All right.
Alex?
My number one is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's just one of the best games that I have ever played. Period.
He's crying.
I'm not crying, but it did make me cry, and it was one of the few games this year to do that. No, I don't know that I have a whole lot more to say about it, but the fact that I've only, like, never did I ever think that I would care about the story in a Spider-Man game, and it's honestly the best story that I've experienced in a game this year, let alone being one of the best Spider-Man stories.
Yeah.
That I've witnessed in terms of movies or shows or comics, although I haven't read that many Spider-Man comics, but it just subverted expectations. Sorry, Siri's talking to me. It subverted expectations that I didn't know that I had. Like, you feel like you know the story of Spider-Man from the 3 reboots that have occurred in the cinematic world and
comics.
The comics and the repeated TV show, like cartoons that have come out, and the fact that this one takes such an interesting approach at being like 8 years into Peter's life as Spider-Man, and it looks at the villains that are typically played with and changes the way that you perceive them and the things that they do. Like, it's put together by people who know what to do in order to play with your Spider-Man expectations, and I think they did a fantastic job, and I think it's the best game that I played this year.
Right on.
Yeah.
Honorable mentions. I have 3. I'm going to go with Red Dead 2, Sea of Thieves, and Pokemon Let's Go. Red Dead 2 and Sea of Thieves are 2 games that I think are amazing for what they are, but I really wish I spent more time with them. Again, I didn't play a lot of games this year. I had a very busy year outside of gaming, which sucked, but hopefully 2019 will be better. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, Red Dead 2 and Sea of Thieves are awesome, and Pokemon Let's Go is a great nostalgic punch in the gut that I'm happy I have and can play at whenever I want, and it's beautiful, and it's on Switch, so I can take it anywhere I go. It's gonna go with me on the cruise.
Pokemon Go.
Yep, I'm gonna take it on the boat for the next week. So
Cool.
those are my honorable mentions. Brian?
I feel like I'm just gonna just add Sea of Thieves. That wasn't really on my list, but
Okay.
like I wouldn't. It didn't enthrall me in the way I expected it to, or for as long as I expected it to. But the mechanics of it are definitely notable, and it was a blast playing with you guys when we could actually line it up and play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's just not an enjoyable game to play with strangers, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really play it as much as I had hoped. Shadow of the Colossus I am going to mention because as an overall experience, it was one worth having for sure, infuriating or not. It was definitely beautiful. It was I liked how minimal the storytelling was, minimalist, but it was still really cool, and like the boss fights were amazing, and I can't believe that they made those back in the day. And
Yeah.
how many years ago?
Over 10, I would think. Yeah.
Just mechanically speaking, like I can't
Probably
believe
15 years
they
ago.
pulled that off.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
I mean,
and
it
that
ran
part-
at 15 frames a second sometimes, but it certainly
Yeah.
existed in a very similar fashion. So.
Yeah, I actually played it in the downgraded graphics setting, so it would play at 60 frames,
Okay.
like the 1080p.
Yeah.
And that was really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, those encounters were just so imaginative and fun
Mm-hmm.
and infuriating. And then this isn't a full game, but I am gonna give a shout out to Destiny 2's Forsaken because it really changed the game for me and made me actually really enjoy it again, or enjoy it, period. Like, I am not disappointed in pretty much any facet of Forsaken. Like, it's the best version of a Destiny game that's been around, like even more so than like Taken King era of D1, I feel.
Awesome.
So that's cool.
Cool. Alex?
Into the Breach is on my honorable mentions. Everything you said before is true. It's a very good game. I'm just not. I don't know. It was one that I wish I'd spent more time with, but I didn't because of the fact that I wanted to play more games. So,
Yeah.
and I could have probably played more of it than I did Dead Cells, and it would have ended up on the list, but it didn't. Astrobot. I have not finished Astrobot, but I really wish I did, and I think it's something that could have ended up in like a number 5 slot.
Yeah.
Shadow of the Colossus, as Brian said, it's one of my favorite games of all time, and this version of it feels like the best version of it. Like, there's no reason to go back to the PlayStation 2 version, in my opinion, or the PS3 version. So it's really awesome that they made that treatment for it. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that I had. There were a few other things that I had played this year that like maybe could have ended up on the list, but it's nothing that I felt too disappointed. Red Dead 2 is great, but it's just not my bag, and so it kind of did not end up anywhere on my superlatives or list. But I don't begrudge anybody that loves it because I think it is great. It's just not for me. So
Right on.
That's what these top fives are about. That's why we don't have one unified top 5.
yeah, we did get a top 5 from Gladish as we have been recording here. He wrote us and said number 5, Shadow of the Colossus. Number 4, Detroit Become Human. Number 3, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is surprising to me. That was one I considered for biggest letdown, actually. Number 2 is A Way Out.
Ah, fuck.
I was surprised you didn't play that
my
game.
best couch
Yeah.
co-op. Is
Well,
A
it's
Way
not
Out.
a couch co-op.
It
If you're
can-
not on the
it-
same couch.
It can be.
It might as well be,
Yeah.
Fuck, I completely forgot about that. That is a fantastic
I
game.
remember fondly that experience that you guys had that I wish I had had. I was, yeah.
And then his number 1 is also Red Dead 2. So, but yeah, no, it's a good list. There are a lot of good games this year.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
There are a lot of good games.
So
Many that we couldn't play them all.
Yes. And then after that, we need to decide what our podcast game of the year is.
I'm just going to do mine real quick here, but I want to say the first 2 games are games I did actually play. Well, 3 games actually that I did actually play, but I didn't play enough of. Spider-Man, I just started to get into. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I didn't get to play more than maybe a quarter of it. Fallout 76, I just got today. And, okay. Beyond that, I didn't play these games at all, and I really wish I would have. Return of the Obra Dinn, Subnautica, A Way Out, Below, Ashen, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and Frostpunk.
Yeah. I wish I had played some BattleTech. I heard great things about BattleTech.
Yeah, I'd add that to my list too.
I wish I played Mega Man 11 because I like Mega Man games, and I just did not try that one out. I just bought Return of the Obra Dinn, and I'm looking forward to playing it, but I wish I had played it sooner because it probably would have ended up somewhere in here.
I feel like it might have ended up on my list, just based on what I've heard.
Yeah. I played a little bit of Below, not as much as I was expecting to have played by now. But
Below expectations, perhaps?
it's a little below my expectations, which I'm a little bummed about, but we can talk about that some other time. And then also A Way Out is just something that I wish I would have been able to play, but I haven't.
Well, I haven't played it yet.
All right.
You guys should
Saying.
play it together for sure.
Yeah, I was going to play through it with Gladish, but it's like I feel like I should play through it with someone that hasn't played it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So-
probably, yeah, that's fair. That makes
we
sense.
could get a physical copy for super cheap because they actually sell those.
Yeah.
I also
And
think
then- Yeah.
Gojo and Nick need to play it if they haven't.
Yeah.
Like the 2 of them together specifically.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. That'd be fun to
Live
have
stream
them
that
do.
shit. That would be fucking great.
Yeah.
Games I wish I played: Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Mario Party, Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, Far Cry 5, BattleTech, Pillars of Eternity 2, Divinity Original Sin 2, and Obra Dinn.
Yeah.
All games, like, there's a lot of RPG going on in there. But yeah, there's so many good games. I had 0 time this year. It really sucks. Especially I'm really disappointed in myself for not getting Far Cry 5. But I will most likely pick it up now that I know it's cheap. So
I don't think you should be that disappointed.
you don't, because you don't like Far Cry, but I dig it.
That's fine.
I think Far Cry 2 is one of the free games on Xbox Live this month too, coming up.
That's cool.
That's basically like everyone's, like, the series favorite, I think, is Far Cry 2. A lot of people really like it.
I couldn't get into it. I liked 3.
3 was great. Yeah, so game of the year. What are we saying?
So I feel like we've got a few potentials in God of War, Dead Cells, and Into the Breach. Those are the 3 that I think are something we could all agree on. Are there any that you guys think could also hang on that list?
No, I think those are 3 solid contenders. I think if we're going off the numbers, God of War takes that cake.
Yeah, well, it was 2 for both of
2,
us,
2,
right?
1.
And 1 for him.
Yeah.
I'd say that's, yeah.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
fine
we
with
could be
that.
political about it too, and just kind of be like, all right, God of War got Game of the Year at the Game Awards, and therefore, do we want to?
Well, I had totally forgotten about that, to be honest. So
We
I don't
can
really
call it
care.
our it'll be our top tier
AAA.
game of the year is God of War, and our indie game of the year is what?
So it's either Dead Cells or Into the Breach.
Because I think it's worthwhile to actually differentiate between those 2 things because of the fact that, like, you've got a huge budget studio putting money and manpower behind an amazing title, which clearly paid off, and then you've got these smaller studios that are doing fucking great things with a smaller amount of resources.
Yeah.
So
I guess I would go with Dead Cells.
I would also go with Dead Cells.
I honestly could be happy with either of them, but
Yeah,
I personally would go with Dead
I
Cells.
feel like if we were all deciding together, Dead
Yeah.
Cells seems like the best way to go.
Yeah.
And that is like a good example of a small company too. Isn't that the company where there's like no bosses and they just
literally everybody makes the same amount of
Yeah.
money, I think, too.
I'm totally behind that.
Yeah.
Socialists.
No, it's I would be I'm happy with both of those choices.
Yeah, I think both of those two games. I spent a lot of time playing both of those games this year, in between Rainbow Six rounds. You know.
Okay, so the game of the year is Rainbow Six. All right.
Always.
Yep.
All day, every
it's
day.
decided. So God of War AAA, Dead Cells Indie, and yeah, I think that's a good. Those two games, purchasing that for full retail price at what, $85 or whatever it would be.
That's a lot of play value.
That is a lot of good game for $85, but you can probably get it for even less than that right now. So
Right on.
and I think it's worth it.
So our next episode is our 100th episode.
Yeah.
Never thought we'd make it this far.
We have literally not talked about anything we want to do for it, but I have a couple of ideas that I'm going to just throw out there right quick.
All right.
I would love for our listeners to write in and tell us some of their favorite moments. I think would be really cool of the podcast.
And if you want to record it instead,
And send us like an MP3, we'll play it live.
yeah,
That would be great.
voice memo on your phone.
I
or
second that.
with your high quality audio.
Yeah, if you have access to high quality audio, which most smartphone microphones are not
Yeah, they're
terrible.
pretty good as long as you're not like in a mall or something.
Yeah, so I'd be down for that sort of thing. Tell us your favorite moments or ask us questions that you want to know the answers to. You know, they can be
About
as
games or about
specific or
podcasting.
personal or
Yeah.
however you want it. Let's do it. I don't care. I'm an open book. I don't give a fuck.
Plus, we could just not answer.
Yeah, just be like, that's too personal.
Should we measure Brian's mouth on air?
Yes, I think that's a good one.
Okay.
Am
Am I going to eat food live?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna see.
We're
how
going to get
many...
you one of those turkey legs from the Renaissance Festival.
and make you put the whole thing in your mouth.
Yeah, we're going to stream for as long as it takes for you to eat the entire thing.
Well, in that case, we should probably have some sort of live donation thing.
Right.
Yeah.
For like the Microstomia Foundation or something like that.
We are not affiliated with that.
Not yet.
Oh, man. We're going to found it.
Yeah, we're gonna start that shit for people with tiny mouths. Big futures for tiny mouths. Something along those lines.
All
Yeah,
right,
I don't know.
what
Do you
else
have any
got?
other? That's all I kind of had off the top of my head. I don't know if you guys have any other ideas of what we should do, but
No, I mean, there's been some rumblings about doing like a charity live stream, but I think that will take some time and
That will
and some
probably be later.
organizations, so that'll come later, and it probably won't be our 100th. But I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to, getting together earlier than usual and actually playing some games on stream or something
Yeah,
like that too.
some
I
Jackbox.
think that'd be fun.
ooh, we should play Jackbox with people.
That'd be great. That
We
would
will
be
play
great.
100 seconds of a game live.
That's it though. Just
that's
100 seconds.
That's a little too much. But yeah, so I think at this point we'd probably be looking somewhere around the 13th of January. So if people want to try and coordinate and plan to watch us, we'd probably be looking at the somewhere midday, like 3 p.m. Eastern on January 13th, which is a Sunday.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll have that.
So right now we'll put that in the books if you want to come watch us live and hang out in either the Discord or the Twitch chat or wherever.
That's right.
And
Clear
if you-
your schedules.
And if you can't, you can always email in questions and things to us.
Yes. Yeah. So either way you want to do it, that would be great. Or if you want to send in a voice message and then also come hang out and see what we say about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it all.
And
Yeah.
we'll see what we play in the meantime.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about that too.
Yeah.
So, if you want to follow us on social media or listen or see all the places that you can listen to or watch the show, check out MidwestGameNerds.com/links. The Midwest Podcast Network now has a Patreon. The Patreon is meant to benefit all the shows on the network. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month and help keep our shows alive and well. Check it out at at patreon.com/MidwestPodnet. That's MidwestPodnet. And as always, we do appreciate your feedback, which you can send to MidwestGameNerds@gmail.com. That is the same email address. You can send your voice memos or other questions and things that you want to ask us about for our 100th episode. Don't forget to follow us on Twitch as well as rate and review us on your favorite podcatcher. That's the biggest thing. Please rate and review us on iTunes and wherever else you listen to or get your podcast. Specifically iTunes, I think, because they have they're basically like the metric Like
Yeah.
The system that most ratings go off of anyways. So
I did want to say thank you to our patrons.
yes, thank you guys very much.
The November donations went to the Hemophilia Foundation of Michigan in honor of one of Willie's good buddies. Snake Plissken is what it was technically donated to, but his name was Corby. He was a cool guy, and so
right on.
we're not taking your money just to be greedy. We also help people sometimes too.
We don't want to be greedy with it anyways.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we appreciate our patrons very much. So look forward to that 100th episode. It is coming up in about 2 weeks, and we will see you guys then. Thanks for listening. Peace.